Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this one we are going to work on MFA conditional access policies and Azure Active Directory identity protection. These series of labs are part of AZ500 Azure Security Technologies. Now if you go to the GitHub under Microsoft Learning, there are actually multiple AZ500 labs. Some of them are pretty old, so make sure that you're using the right one. And I'm going to give you this link. And the reason we are kind of redoing some of these labs is because these labs are now updated very recently. As of even last 5 days ago, some of the labs were updated just to reflect the new changes that we have in the portal. So hopefully our experience is gonna be better and we will not see too much difference between the lab direction and the portal that we're gonna work on. So again, I have already done these three. So lab 4 is what we're going to implement. So this is MFA, multi-factor authentication, conditional access, and AAD. They're all very important concepts and features when you move to the cloud. Especially in the cloud, your identity is the new control plane. Always remember that. So with that, we have a lab scenario. So we are going to create a proof of concept features that enhances the Azure Active Directory authentication. Specifically, we want to evaluate the Azure Active Directory multi-factor authentication, conditional access, and identity protection. So we'll see different license type offerings of Azure AD and what kind of license offers what kind of features. So we will try to use the East US to deploy our stuff. So few things we're going to do. We're going to deploy Azure virtual machine by using Azure Resource Manager template. This is actually not really required if you already have a virtual machine. We're going to implement the multi-factor authentication, implement Azure AD conditional access policy and identity protection. So let's see over here. Let's see why they are doing deploying a resource. Okay, so let's see over here. Okay. Alright, I don't know the reason why they did. You have initiated template, but since we have a template already available, there might be some reason. So we're going to use this template to deploy this file. So there are multiple ways. So let's see where is the template. So the template is located on our lab 4 AZ005. So we'll come back over here and go down to instructions, open it in a new page. Lab, no, it's not under labs. So labs, and then where is my template? Again, let's come back over here. Let's see if the direction is proper. So in this one they said the lab files are all files labs 04. So all files labs 04. Yeah, we do have the demo. So we gotta get this Azure deploy. So it's you can either download or you can go to raw and just copy the whole thing. I think you can do it this way as well. So then go to home, create a resource, and what we want to do from a template. So let's see what they are suggesting. Come back over here. So we are already in our portal, and deploy a custom template is what we want to search. So from here you can directly search for deploy custom template. Let's see if it's showing up. Template deployment is deploy using custom template. So this is what you need. So just click on that one. So build your own template in the editor. So let's click on that one. So over here what you can do, you can add these most likely in this particular file. And for parameters, let's see if it's already in here or is it variables, and go to quicks. No, not quicks template. So probably the better way just to load the file and then the parameter file, but this is probably okay if you do it this way. And the other file that you need is the parameter which usually provides your password and stuff. So that is in here. So let's just copy this one as well, and let's see if I have a parameter that I can pass right from here. So I don't see that here directly. What I'll do, I'll save this one and then go to edit parameters, and edit parameters, I'm gonna delete this and put this that I have from the parameter file, and hit save. Save login. I don't have to save this one. So what I really did, so you can download these files if you like, but all I did, I copied the Azure deploy. This one is a JSON formatted file with all the configuration for my virtual machine, and then this parameter is really passing the username and password and the VM SKU that we want to use. So that is parameterized. If you want to change it, you can change it here. So over here, what I'll do, look at this real quick. VM name, admin username, student, password, and then hit review and create. It says there's something is missing, so we need to put it in a resource group. Let's see what resource group the lab is asking us to do. Resource group is create new and put it AZ lab 04. So let's just do that. Create new AZ lab 04. And instead of west, I think the lab said to use east US. Yeah, east US. So come back over here. I'll change that west to east. So that's the only change that we need to make. I think rest is just fine and you should be able to deploy. Alright, so and then create. So what it's telling you really, so if you have a template, then you don't have to go through the configuration. So you can always use the template to deploy your resources, and it should be uniform every single time you do it. So that's the great thing about using infrastructure as code. So let's come back over here. The next thing we're gonna implement Azure multi-factor authentication. So here, what we will do, we will not use our AZ tenant that I'm using. We're gonna open a completely new AZ tenant, and I will show you how to do that. We're gonna activate the Azure Premium P2 trial license on that particular AD tenant. We're gonna create some AZ users and groups, assign the Azure AD Premium P2 license to Azure AD users, configure MFA and validate MFA configuration. So make sure that you are not using your AZ tenant. So what you want to do, you want to come back over here, go to your home and look for Azure AD, and Azure AD, the whole bunch showed up. I just need Active Directory. So I just say Azure Active Directory. This is the one that you want. So click on this one. And what we want, so if you come over here, I have only one tenant. I don't have multiple ones. So here I want to create a tenant. So that is what I think the lab is also suggesting to do. Create a tenant, and then what we'll do, we'll use this organization name. So let's come over here. Active Directory is what we need. Configuration, this is the name of the organization. Initial domain name, a unique name, combination of letters and digits. So cloud security training, let's see, that is available, and country region United States should be fine, and we're going to create that particular tenant for us. So hit enter, and validation is successful, and create. So now I'm creating a new tenant. I'm gonna go through this. So JRDX3W and hit submit my captcha fill. So XD4S, I don't know man, I think it's J and X. Let's see if that's correct. Okay, looks like that won't work, and it says tenant creation in progress. So while that is going on, once this is done, we're gonna activate our premium P2 license. So what we have to make sure now, we have to go and move to that particular Azure Active Directory to do our work. So I'm gonna get rid of this tab. This is still going on. Tenant creation is in progress. Did we create this one already? I think we did, right? Now I want to click on this one. Let's see. I'm gonna create. I'm not sure if that was working. So NVVM M X Y and P. If this fails, then I know that that deployment was, yeah, so tenant creation failed, domain is in use by other tenants. So yeah, so I think that tenant got created. So what we'll do, we'll come back over here, go to Active Directory again, and here I can do switch tenant, or I can click over here. Usually it shows up with, I mean over here it does. So still not showing it over here, so let's see. Switch tenant. Okay, so there's a tenant got created. So I bet that I used to be able to do that from here, and you probably will be at some point. But right now what we had to do, we had to click on switch tenant, and this is the tenant that got created. So I'm going to click on that one to go to that particular tenant, and let's see if it lets me use that one. Come on, let me get in. Okay, I think here I have to click on the switch. So I'm right now in the default directory. You can see the default directory, and I'm gonna click on switch, and I bet that now it will say Adatum Lab 500.04. Okay, now we have successfully changed, and here is the Adatum Lab 500.04. So you know how to change that. So this functionality is a little different than what it used to be. So that's good. So we are now successfully changed to that particular Active Directory, and in this one we're going to go to manage and go to license. So manage, and license should be under here, and over here we're going to enable the premium P2. So let's see, get a free trial should do, or license features. Let me come back over here. Let's see this. So this is really giving you you know, a comparison of different features. All products here I can do try and buy. Over here I can use the Azure AD Premium P2 and click on the free trial and activate that one. So what it's doing is activating the Azure AD Premium P2 trial on this particular Active Directory domain. Okay, so there we go. So we are done with that. So next we're gonna create some users and groups. So first we're gonna create a new user, and the name of this user is gonna be the add user. So let's come back over here, go back to your Active Directory, go to users, and add some users. So new user, and it should be pretty simple. So add user 1. I think that's all you needed. Ensure that auto generate password is selected, and click show password to get the password, I guess. And then roles, we're gonna assign this person as the global administrator. So over here, show password, get the password, come over here, put it down there, and then what we will do, we are going to get the username, put it in here, And then over here, what do we need to do? We need to come down to the roles, and we are gonna assign global admin and select. Let's see, anything else we are doing. Roles, United States, groups, no groups. That's good. I think everything else looks good. And hit create. So that should create that particular user. Okay, so we have done with the one user. So the next we are gonna do another. We're gonna add another user. So and this time it's gonna be user 2, and this time the roles is going to be just user, and that would be it. So add user, new user, and this and this, and copy this and save it. And let's see if I need to, yeah, I need to get the password for this user as well. So copy and save it for now. And no user, roles user is fine, and hit create. So that user got created. We need to add another user, and this is also just going to be a general user, and I don't need to put this in any group either. So there we go, there we go. And show password, copy the password and put it in here, and copy the username and paste it in here. So we got all the users that we need. Now assign Azure AD Premium P2 license to Azure users. So we'll go to users, all users, and click the entry representing your account, and then hit edit. So over here, let's hit the create to create the users. So go back to all users and create my account, and what we'll do, hit the edit button, and in here settings, usage location, make sure that it's US. Settings, usage, it should already be US, but usage location is nothing selected, so we want to make sure that it's United States. Alright, so now just save this one. So that's an important thing. Navigate back to the Active Directory, go manage and click on licenses. So manage and then licenses now. And here we gotta assign the licenses, the P2 licenses, and there is usually 100 licenses that comes as free for 1 month. And we are gonna add users and groups, and the users place we're gonna select all 3 users, and we're gonna assign the licenses. So assignment, so review license types, so and we're gonna select all of it, review license options, and I'm gonna hit save in this one, and what is going on? So over here, what we'll do, come back to this again, go to the licenses blade, and I don't have any licenses. Again, go back over there. So I think licenses is where we assign stuff. So again, come back over users. I don't have anything. So manage your self-service subscription, all products, license features, all products. Okay, here is where I think I need to ask. So now you are inside the particular license. Okay, so once you're here, you're gonna click on assign and add users and groups, and we're gonna pick up user add 1, 2 and 3, all 3 of them. So all 3 of them are now added to the license. So now if I say assign, what's gonna happen, those users license assignment filled for 3 users. Why? Okay, so error code, Oh, cannot be assigned with the location specified. So we made a mistake. So yeah, so your users, they must be in the United States, or your location has to be specified. So let's go back to Azure AD. So we were doing pretty fast, so we're gonna open the users real quick, and for this user we're gonna edit and do the same thing we did for the rest. So usage location, we're gonna use United States and then save. So that add the user 1 is now done. Go to user 2 and then edit and update your usage location to United States. Here we go, and hit save. Again, we're gonna go back to users and users 3, and we will update the usage location. And where is it? Usage location, that is gonna be the United States, and there we go. So now you should be able to assign the license. So that's something, maybe a exam question. You're trying to add P2 license and you cannot add. What could be a common problem? So again, go back to the licenses. So no license assignment. So where, let me make sure that we are going to the right. So click on assignment. When I users, man, I went to that place in other ways just a little bit ago. So let's come back over here one more time. Come back to what, there is no licenses again, and all products. So remember the flow, all products, then you go to Active Directory. Now you assign. So now you click on your users and groups. Now you select user 1, 2 and 3, select and review and assign, and this time your assignment should be successful. Now it says 3 of them has been assigned. So what will happen, if you refresh, you'll see all of them are now available. So if you go back to licenses, it should say, and I refresh, it says 1 assigned. It should say like 4 assigned. So again, it takes a little bit of time to refresh these numbers, but since we already have mine, and now you see this 4 of them, it should say now available. You still have 96 more that you can use to assign this particular P2 license. Okay, Azure Active Directory Premium P2. So now what we'll do, we'll come back over here. So you now learn how to assign the licenses. Now sign out from the Azure portal and sign back in using the same account. This step is necessary in order for the license assignment to take effect. So sometimes it's you don't really need to do that, but since they're saying it, let's just do it. And signed out of my account, and let's just go back in with the same account again and provide the password, and there we go. So now we have logged back in and validated my lab requirements. So the next one, we're going to do configure MFA. So we're going to configure MFA for one particular user. Okay, so do that. We can go down to the security section, and on the security section we can go to manage and then MFA. So you come back over here again, you go to the Active Directory, and from manage you go to security, and from the security we should have a MFA. Where is my MFA? Multi-factor authentication. That is taking us to the documentation. So manage, here is the MFA over here, so just click on that one and use MFA to protect your users. Let's see, so we are under the multi-factor authentication blade right now, so we can assign our MFA pretty quickly. So when we are here on the getting started blade, click the additional cloud-based MFA setting link. So let's see, additional cloud based MFA link is right here. Okay, so you can click on that one. So that is going to take you to another tab, and it has users of the service settings. So right now by default it went to the service setting tab. You're gonna come to the users tab, and you can now select which user you want to enable your multi-factor authentication. Okay, so I think we are working with which user, the user 1. Yeah, user 1. So here we review the verification option. So we have already done that. So actually just go back over here one more time. Over here, go back over service setting and see what you have just one more time. Allow users to create app password to sign in. So that is good. So verification options, make sure that what you have, call to phone, text message to phone, notification through mobile app, verification code from mobile app or hardware token. So you are giving multiple options. And if you want to allow this feature to remember multi-factor authentication on trusted device, you can enable this one as well, and it will remember the login for 90 days by default. We're not going to do that at the moment, so we're going to go back to the users again, and we know how this multi-factor authentication is going to work. So we're going to come back over here, and we are going to select our user, and we're going to click the enable and enable multi-factor authentication. So that should enable, you see now it says enable, and the other 3 is still disabled, but this guy is now enabled. So we have done that, and what we can do, click that user. At this point you also have the enforce option. So it's if I click on this guy, we also have the quick step is now disable or enforce, right? Changing the user status to enforced, enable to enforced impacts only legacy Active Directory integrated apps which do not support Azure MFA. Once the status change to enforced, it requires the use of app password. So don't worry about it for now. So with the user one selected, manage user settings and review available options. Require selected users to provide contact methods. Again, delete all expiring app passwords generated by the selected users and restore multi-factor authentication on all remembered devices. So we just want to look at manage user settings. So over here, so we're going to click on manage user settings, and so we can do some stuff in here, but it says just read through it, but you don't need to do anything, so we cancel it out. And in the setting, click on fraud alert. So let's look at what we can do about the fraud alert. So you can click on here, and it's got some settings. On the fraud alert blade, configure the following: allow users to submit fraud alerts. Yeah, turned it on. Automatically block users who report fraud, then turn it on. Code to report for fraud during initial greeting is 0. So on, and 0. Okay, so that is the configuration we want for fraud notification from users, and then we can hit the save button. Remember that to save your setting, and we are going to go back to manage again, and then properties, and then manage security defaults. So manage again, okay, setting, and manage security defaults. Where is my security defaults? So come back over here, Azure Active Directory, and manage, and there's just too many things in here. I don't have this here either, so okay, let's go back. So back to this Active Directory tenant, but in the manage section, click on properties. So first you gotta go to the properties tab, So where is my properties tab? Is right here, and again from here, let's see, manage security defaults is at the bottom. You click on that one, so that will come up and give you this particular window. And here what you want to do, on the manage security defaults plate, click no and select my organization is using conditional access as the reason, and then click save. So security default is a set of basic identity security mechanism recommended by Microsoft. When enabled, these recommendations will be automatically enforced in your organization. Administrators and users will be better protected from common identity related attacks. So since we are defining all of the MFA and stuff, you can now turn it to no. But if you do this, then as you're saying, hey, if you do that, we are not going to be responsible for providing the security that we think you should have. So what is the reason? So you can just say my organization is using conditional access for the MFA, and then hit save. So that should take care of this section of the lab. And again, make sure that you are in that particular tenant, and here the tenant is showing up over here, so I know that I'm in the right tenant. And lastly, what we want to do, we want to validate the MFA configuration. So what we want to do, we want to open in private browser, and we're going to open it as the add user one. So let's try to open as a private window. Go to portal.azure.com, and then we're going to try to log in as that particular user. Hit next, and we need a password, so that is the initial password. We're going to put it in, then sign in. Now it's asking for more information. Your organization needs more information to keep your account secure, so you have to hit next. And what is going to happen, it's going to go and set up your MFA for you. So you can either use app, and method one of two is app and then the phone. Start by getting the app, so you can download this app in your phone, and you can hit next. I already have one app, I think Microsoft Authenticator. If you don't have, please download that one. And let me make sure that I do. Come on, Microsoft. I just think this Authenticator is the name of the app. Yeah, I have Authenticator. Okay, hold on. Let me open my app. Okay, I got my app opened. So the next thing is from it, allow notification, then add an account and select work or school. Let's see. So if you want, you can use a different method if you like, but I'm gonna go and hit next. So what we want to do in the Authenticator app, you would go the three dot, you will click on it. You're gonna add an account, and you're gonna say other account, and then you are gonna scan this particular barcode that we have, and that should add your account, the add user one, and then you hit next. And in this time it's gonna ask approve sign in. You say approve, and that should take care of it. And this, now it says notification approved. Hit next. The next thing is the phone, so you can use a phone number. Let's try the phone number, and send me a code, and I need to enter a code now. So let's see if I have the code. So 327711. So 327711 is the code. So hit next, and SMS verified, phone was registered successfully. Hit next. success. So we have both Microsoft Authenticator and the phone, both of them now verified. So hit done. So it's now will let me sign in, and again now I'm going to provide the old password, and it's Firefox is creating a very strong password for me, so we'll just take that one for now and replace this with the password suggested by the Firefox, and stay signed in. I'd say no, don't do that, but just log in. So now I'm able to log in. So that's how you set up, like the user experience is going to be when you have enabled the MFA the way we just did. So let's come back to the other tab. So over here, let's see what we have done. So navigate to, so we did this, we did that. So here they only use the phone, so we enable both phone and the authenticator, and add user, close in private. So we are all done. So we can sign out as the add user, and we can close the other window. So let's just go back over here, maybe later, and just sign out, and I'm just gonna close out of this window. So the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna implement the Azure AD conditional access policy. This is actually recommended if you really want to enable MFA. And then two tasks: configure conditional access policy and then test the conditional access policy. So again, we're gonna go back to our Active Directory, go back to the manage section, and then create security. So over here I'm gonna go down to manage, and again go down to security. The security has a whole bunch of things in here that we can do, and let's see, conditional access, where is that located? So we're gonna go in the protect sections. It should have the conditional access. So let's see, protect is the conditional access. So protect, manage, report, right? So conditional access is right here. So click on that blade, and what we need to do, we're gonna create a new policy. So over here, click on new policy, and we're gonna configure that. We're gonna call it as a AZ500 policy 1. So let's come back over here. That's the name of the policy. And now the assignments, we're going to select the users and groups and cloud apps and conditions, and then grant and the session. So users and groups, we're going to select the user 2. Okay, so over here, users and groups, we are going to select specific users. Okay, we need to select users and groups. From here, user use this. Okay, only user 2. So we have selected one user. Okay. Now in this one, from the cloud apps, we are going to select the Microsoft Azure Management. So this is really the Microsoft portal. So here, cloud apps, and select apps, and Microsoft Management, Azure Management. So this is the app that we need to select, and then hit select. So we got one user and one app. Okay, and then let's see, then under conditions, click on sign in risk, and then we don't need to make any changes. Okay, so conditions, sign in risk, control user access to respond to specific sign in risk level. So there are 4 different types: high, medium, low, and no risk. And let's see if the lab says anything. Review the risk levels but do not make any changes. So it's saying, hey, don't change anything. Go to the device platform and just say done. Location, don't make any changes, and then come to the grant and just say require multi-factor authentication and select. So for here, since we are really interested in multi-factor authentication, we are not really changing anything. We're just reviewing what we have. So if you can configure if you like. So for here, we are not doing anything. Done. Locations, we are not going to do anything. If you do some more stuff in here, you can. So then you come down to grant, and under grant, no matter where they're coming from, okay, if they're trying to access the Azure portal, they have to go through Azure multi-factor authentication. That's what this setup is gonna do. And then we're gonna select and enable policy. We cannot do report only, we're gonna turn it on. So let's see, on, and then we're gonna hit on the create, and that should create the policy for us. So there we go. So this is how you can implement multi-factor authentication using conditional access policy. Okay, so now you come back over here. The next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna test the conditional access policy for add user 2 and verify the MFA is required. So now remember, so let me just show it from here. So if you go back to the Active Directory, you go back to security, and then you come down over here somewhere, multi-factor authentication. It took, no, not that link. Where is that link that took us to the multi-factor authentication? So it's MFA. Okay, so under MFA, additional cloud-based MFA settings, so we configured our user 1, okay, and it says enforced. Through here we clicked on this user and we said enable, like, but this user, if you see, it says the multi-factor authentication is disabled, but we did enable the multi-factor authentication for this user using conditional access policy. So although it says disable, it should still require the MFA, and that is what we're gonna test next. So again, I'm gonna open up a new private window. This time I'm gonna go to portal.azure.com, and this time I'm gonna use the other user, which is user 2. Let's copy that one, put it in here, hit next. Here's the password requirement. Let's go get the password as well. Let's test the initial password, then hit sign in. So now again, see, more information required. So if you hit next, let's see what happens. It's taking me to the sign in. So now it's saying, hey, go through the authenticator app again. So let's hit, and what we'll do, we'll come back over here. I'm gonna add another user here, and I'm gonna scan this, and it's now adding. So there's my user 2, so that's all good. So once this user is added, it's now it's asking, should I approve? I'm gonna approve this Microsoft Authenticator, and you should see the next person available now. Now next, done. So there we go. So now I can change the password. So here the new password, and this whatever that is, and hit sign in, and we have this particular guy now signed in. So we proved that you can use conditional access policy to set up your multi-factor authentication as well. Alright, let's come back to this and see if there's anything else that we need to do. So let's see. So again, so we have done that. So again, you could use the phone if you like by clicking use another method for MFA, and let's come back over here. So sign out and then close the in private window. So let's just do that. So close, maybe later, then sign out and close this window. So back to the browser window displaying the Azure portal, we can go back to the Active Directory and then go back to the security again and go to the conditional access, and then we're gonna delete this policy. So come back over here, security, and under protect conditional access, so this particular policy, and we are going to delete this one. So once you delete, in this exercise we'll implement a conditional access policy to require MFA when a user signs in to the Azure portal, and we have implemented and tested the AZ conditional access. The last thing that we are going to do is to look at the Azure AD identity protection. So again, we are going to go there. Again, you're going to go back to the security tab, and we're going to work with the identity protection this time. And identity protection usually come with the protect, report, and notify. So let's come back over here again, go back to security and identity protection. If you click on that one, so you have a risk policy, MFA registration policy, risky user, risky sign-in, and risky detection. Okay, so you have again protect, report, and notify. So identity protection, protect, report, and notify. Three major sections, three major areas. So now let's configure a risk policy, and from based on your risk you can also enable MFA. Okay, so that's the gist of this particular process and flow. So we're going to go to the user risk, and we're going to configure the user risk remediation policy. So user risk policy, and we're going to configure the user risk remediation policy. Now click users and ensure all user options is selected. So click user, it's already there, so you don't really need to do anything. So click all users, then it's selected. So include everybody. Everybody has to go through this identity protection policy now. And then go to user risk, and then select low and above. So low and above, it's already selected. So pretty much any type of user risk must be evaluated. That is what we are saying. And the third thing, access, ensure that the allow access option, the require password change checkbox is selected and done. So over here, access, and then required password change is, and then allow access and record password change. So if we have something risky happening, then what we are saying, we are not blocking the access, but we're going to allow the access, but we will require the user to change the password. Okay, and the set enforce policy to on. So again, make sure this enforce policy to on, then we can save this thing, save. Okay, so that policy risk, user risk policy is now saved. You come back over here, and then you configure the sign-in risk policy. Okay, so first one was user risk policy, and now we're going to configure the sign-in risk policy. Cancel, I think it's already done, and save. Okay, saved user risk policy. So go to sign-in risk policy, and in this one, what we are doing is we're going to click on user. On the include tab, we're going to include everybody. So sign in all users, include tab, we're going to include everybody. Everybody has to go through the sign-in policy. And then sign-in risk, we're going to select medium and above. So this time we're going to say, okay, low, we don't care. If the sign-in risk is medium or above, yeah, we care about it. And then on the access, allow access, then we say, okay, but since we have a problem, you have to go through multi-factor authentication. So over here, access, allow access, but you require multi-factor authentication. That's what we're going to do. Again, we're going to enforce this particular sign-in risk policy in here, and we are going to say save. So that is now saved. Come back over here, and we can simulate the risk events against the Azure AD identity protection. So before you start this task, Azure ensure that the template deployment you started in XSS1 is completed. So this is the reason why we needed this virtual machine. Okay, So deployment included Azure VM name AZ50004 VM1. In the Azure portal, set the directory plus subscription filter to the Azure AD tenant associated with the Azure subscription into which you deploy this particular virtual machine. Okay. In the Azure portal, search resources, services, and docs, and then the type virtual machine, and then go to the virtual machine, click connect, click RDP. So what they're saying is to connect to the virtual machine, and let's start there. So let's just go over here and go back to the other directory that I have. So that is the default directory. That's where my resources are deployed. We're gonna go to the virtual machine excuse me, and this one is running. I'm gonna take this copy, and I don't have Windows RDP. I'm just gonna use Remina. You can use your Windows client if you're using Windows. So I'm just gonna provide this and say yes. Username is, I think it was student. Let's come back over here. We're almost at the bottom of this page. So what we'll do, we'll come back to the labs. Let's, not here. So we're gonna go back in here, labs 04, and parameters. I just want to get the right password. So this is my password. Let's get that one. Go to my and now where am I? Here. So provide the password and hit OK, and hopefully it will let me connect. There we go, it's now connecting. So we can go back, we can close this, go back to the particular lab that we were doing. Let's come back over here. So now we're gonna go to server manager, and we're gonna disable the IE enhanced security. So let's see what's happening over here. We're gonna go to server manager. Might just show up. Just a minute. So just or just click on the server manager, it will show up. And we're going to disable the IE enhanced security configuration, and then we're going to start the Internet Explorer and click safety, and then click the in private browsing. So okay, that's fine. So what we are gonna do in here, local server. So this is a little bit cumbersome for me because of this window. This window is very small, and where I want to go is, okay, so the IE enhanced security. How do I get to that IE enhanced security? So you see this is on. I'm going to click on it and just turn it off and hit OK. So once that's done, I'm going to open up the Internet Explorer from here, and what we will do, we'll need recommended security is okay, but I need a in private. And how do I don't even use Internet Explorer. So let's see, click the safety. In the drop down menu, click safety and click in private browsing. Click drop down menu. Where is safety? I don't even see any drop down menu in here. So what I need, safety then in private browsing. So you got that. Okay, in here we gotta go to the Tor browser. So Tor should probably create the risk. Okay, so copy all of that, go there. I'm just gonna get rid of the last dot and hit enter, and this is asking download and install the Windows version of the Tor browser with the default settings. So let's see, so here we are going to download this for some, if it's download, it's not okay. So hopefully that will download the Windows, and I'm gonna hit run. And when the Tor browser is open, we're going to use that browser to go to https://myapps.microsoft.com. So Tor, since Tor tries to hide the user, it will create a risky sign-in event, and we will try to log in as that user 3. So although I have not enabled any conditional access or MFA for the particular user, it will request for a MFA because of the Tor browser, or your sign in was blocked, it will be shown. So let's see what happens here. Let's just install this Tor browser here. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, and run the browser. That's good, that's what I want. So let's see, as soon as the browser opens, let's see, hit on connect, and it's establishing a connection to the network. So this is my Tor browser. I'm gonna use portal.azure.com, hit enter, and this time I'm gonna use add user 3. Let's see if my copy and paste works here or not. So over here, paste, it did. Hit next, and now let's paste the password and see what happens. So my paste the password and hit sign in. There we go. So now what it's saying, your sign in was blocked. We have detected something unusual about the signing. For example, you might be signing from a new location, device, or app. Before you can continue, we need to verify your identity. Please contact your admin. So what is going on? So over here, let's go back to the lab. Okay, so this is expected. Since the account is not configured with multi-factor authentication, which is required due to increased sign-in risk associated with the Tor browser, so your account is blocked. So remember what we did. So for the user, so when we created the user risk policy, we said if it's anything low or above, just block it. Then user sign-in, we said okay, if it's a medium or high, you can allow the user access, but you require the password change and MFA. But since MFA is not even enabled, this access is now blocked. So what we can do, we can sign out and sign in as a different user account, and let's try add user 1 where we know that we have a multi-factor authentication enabled. So let's just go back in here. So sign out and sign in with a different user account. Click on that, and let's see if I can. Okay, I just can't use the add user, so come back over here, copy this and paste it, hit next, get this password and hit this password. It will still say here, this time it's saying hey, there is something suspicious going on, you might be signing from a new location. So this time it didn't block, but it said there's something going on, verify your account. So here we can do a whole bunch of things. We can Microsoft Authenticator app, I can verify. We can use a verification code from the mobile app or text. So let's try this one, use a verification code, since we have already looked at the other things. So let's me open up my Authenticator app again, and this is user 1. So I can go to user 1 that I have, and then I'm just going to type in a code 892932 and hit verify, and it should let me in because I'm successfully verified. Let's stay sign in. No, I don't want to do that, but that's the process. So here's something else, and just allow this request, and that's it. So you are now logged in. So let's go back over here. So over here we did all that, we complete the verification and you're successfully signed in, everything is good. So the last thing before we end this long lab, review the Azure AD identity protection reports. Okay, so now what we want to do, you will review the identity protection reports generated from the Tor browser login. So we can go back to the portal, go back to the directory that we were working on. So go back over here, not the default directory, switch directory and go to the add a term directory. And in here what we'll do, we'll go back to the security again, and getting started, we're gonna look at the reports and risky users over here, active directory, and then security. What is my security, and then what we will do, reports and risky users. And right now it says no risk found, so let's see what happens. So come back over here, review the report, any entries reference to add user 3 user account. So I don't see any account at the moment, so although it blocked the access for whatever reason, that record is not yet available to me. So you can come back and see if that report is different for you. Okay, so add user 3 is actually showed up under risky sign-ins, and here is the user action, and it was blocked, and that is what it's giving us. So let's just come back over here. Risky sign-in, it says sign in add user 3 user account, so that we have it available to us. Now under reports, risk detection, let's see, risk detection, if you click on that one, you still have the add user 3, and location, it says it's from some Holland someplace, anonymous IP address, risk state is at risk, it's a medium risk. All of that is now recorded, and the IP address from where we try to connect to Azure. Let's see, review the report, identify any entries representing the sign-in from anonymous IP address generated by the Tor browser. Okay, so again it says, look at that, it may take 10 to 15 minutes to race to show up in report. So probably if I give a little bit more time, even the user blade will have the report for the add user 3 available to us. So again, so we did a lot of different things, so make sure that you understand what you did, and then clean up all the resources that you don't need anymore. So we can go to security, then identity protection, user risk policy, then we can turn it off, and enforcement policy, turn it off, and the VM, we can stop the VM and click OK. So so what is saying, do not remove any resources provisioned in this lab, since PIM lab has a dependency. So Azure Active Directory also provides the PIM services, so we'll take a look into that. We're going to use the same virtual machine. So before we end the lab, what we'll do, you can come back to the protect conditional access. If you not conditional access, where are we, security, and then protect, then identity protection is what we did, protect identity protection, and let's see, identity protection, we had the user risk policy, you can turn it off and save. Sign-in policy, you can turn it off and save. We didn't create any MFA registration, we did not, so we're good on that. So user risk policy, sign-in policy, so I think these are good. And what we'll do, the last thing, come back over here, go switch your directory and go to which directory, go to the default directory, and we're gonna stop the virtual machine. We're gonna not gonna delete it, but so that we're not getting billed. So virtual machines, and this is the virtual machine that's running. Click on that one and you hit stop, and that should take care of the problem. Okay, so hopefully you have learned a little bit in this lab. It's been a long one, but hopefully really useful, and it's very important lab for the exam. So do this lab multiple times and be completely comfortable doing MFA, conditional access, sign-in policy, user risk policy, understand what they are, and be ready. Thank you for watching, and let's see you guys in the next lab exercise. Thank you.